for the career services. And I just want to thank the Burbank Young Professionals and also Damon with University Advancement on collaborating to ensure that we have a virtual mixer for our alumni. One of the things that when I began my role in September of 2019, I wanted to ensure that we were connecting Woodbury alumni, not only with the Woodbury University, but also with the benefits and perks of being involved, access to the resources post-graduation, but also expand our network. And it's been phenomenal with the Burbank Young Professionals as one of our key partners in ensuring that we as a university have a multitude of partnerships, not only within the Burbank community, but in the greater LA community. So once again, thank you all for being here. I am the host, the MC, so if you see me back and forth, it's because I'm admitting people into the room and also navigating the PowerPoint. So we will go ahead and get started. So next will be my colleague, Damon.
Hello and welcome. I'm having some IT issues, so I'm not sure if I can be seen or heard, but I will continue on. Welcome everyone to this evening's virtual networking event. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge that our world has been going through a really difficult and challenging time. So I'm really grateful that so many alumni had the opportunity to be joining us this evening. The Burbank Young Professionals have prepared a very informative and exciting agenda for everyone. And I hope that it will assist you in your professional and in your professional development and exploration. Really quickly after the event, you'll receive a short survey. Please take a few minutes to fill that out. Your feedback is very important and it'll help us to continue to bring you new and exciting and engaging programming. And also, if you've not signed up for the alumni newsletter, there will be a link in there where you can sign up and receive all of our updates. So continue to stay safe and be well and enjoy the event.
Thank you, Damon. Next, I would like to present our phenomenal university president, Dr. Steele.
Well, welcome everyone. I thought I would cover 3 points. And first of all, let me start with the good news that so far we do not have any COVID-19 cases, either in our staff or faculty or students or their families. So when you consider that we have roughly about 1,700 people that are typically on campus, if you include all of the part-time faculty, this is a phenomenal record, and I hope that we can continue to have that record moving forward. As Damon said, these last few months in particular have been incredibly difficult. I have not been on campus since March 12th, and trying to run the university from afar is not as easy as it sounds. We've had some real successes in fiscal year 20, which ended June 30th of this year. We did manage to get a $4.3 million loan from the Small Business Administration, which hopefully will be forgiven, and we're in the process of filling out that paperwork. Secondly, we also got about a $1.3 million, in essence, grant from the Department of Education, a large part of which went to give students a discount, direct payments. So there have been a lot of good news. We expect that we will end the fiscal year 20 on a very positive basis, obviously because of this injection of money from the federal government. But we are concerned about fiscal year 21. Right now, we're running about 100 students below our objective. That is roughly about $2.5 million below what we were expecting. We still have about another 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks before school starts. So we have a major marketing push to try and get as many, particularly transfer students and also graduate students, both of which tend to sign up kind of almost at the last minute. The second point I wanted to make is that if I look back at my 4.5 years as president, I would say that roughly 40% of the students that come to Woodbury is because of recommendations from alumni, from parents, from friends. It's all about the word of mouth. So please continue as alumni to spread the word of your education at Woodbury. And the sooner you can do that, the better, because obviously, as I said, we're hoping to close the gap before school starts in terms of the number of students that will be registering. Thirdly, Damon has been very good about whenever an alumnus or alumna are on campus of introducing them to me, quite often at the last minute, depending on my schedule. Sometimes I can only get together for 5 minutes, and sometimes I can get together for an hour. So I would like to continue this virtually to the extent that I can. So the next 2-3 weeks, they're going to be extremely busy, but I would say that Damon, if you can work with SETA and with any alumni that want to speak with me, I'd be happy to do it also by video conference. I do have a lot of experience in the international area, which I think quite often is of help to students that are considering an international career. So again, welcome to everyone, and my thanks again, Osvaldo and Damon, for putting this together and for all of the participants in this tremendous event. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Steele. And now I would like to present Romik and Carol with the co-chairs for the Burbank Young Professionals. All yours.
Hey everyone, we are so delighted to be here. My name is Carol Nunez. I'm a sales manager at the Hilton Garden Inn here in Burbank downtown. And Ramik and together chair the committee of the Burbank Young Professionals, which is a branch of the Burbank Chamber of Commerce. We are a very new organization, especially when you look at all of the established things in Burbank, like the Chamber is celebrating their 100th year here. Disney has been in Burbank for years and years, and we are just a little over 2 years old. And I will let Ramik go ahead and talk about the very beginning startups of Burbank Young Professionals. And then I'll come back after and let you in on a little bit of what we're doing present day. Do you want to go ahead and take over, Ramik?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Dr. Steele. Thank you, Woodbury University, and Osvaldo for being a great host, for allowing us to do this. You know, the Burbank Young Professionals started because, just to go back about 4 years, I've been an ambassador for the Burbank Chamber of Commerce for about 4 years. So going to every single Chamber of Commerce networking mixer, I noticed that what we lacked was a youthful presence and a young voice for the city of Burbank. So becoming an ambassador and, you know, getting acquainted with a lot of great community leaders, you know, we work with the Chamber, and we asked if we can create an organization where appeals to the youth, so the youth can have the resources and the connections to really get involved in what's happening in the city of Burbank. And with that, you know, 2 years ago, we finally formed an organization, and we called it the Burbank Young Professionals. And a lot of the committee members here are our founding members. You know, they've been with us since the beginning. And what we like to do is give you a platform where you can come to us and ask us for, whether it's business advice, you know, whether it's, you know, accessing a specific department within the city or a business within the city. You know, we want to provide that for you. And that's what the Burbank Young Professionals is all about. And we all come from different industries, so there's a lot of great wealth of information that we can share. And we're happy to do it. You know, we believe in helping each other out and helping each other grow. And that's been our inspiration from the beginning. And I'm going to hand it back to Carol. And, you know, Carol's been a wonderful vice chair. She's been instrumental in really helping us figure out how we can penetrate the community even more. And that's been through a lot of philanthropy. So Carol, I'll let you talk about that.
Thank you, Ramik. That was great. Our initial model is a networking event once per quarter, and to make these events something that we want to go to. So something that's kind of out of the box. So not just your typical mixer event. And so we chose locations and different, like bars in downtown Burbank, such as, Story Tavern, places that we liked in Gordon Biersch, and partnered with those locations and, did like $5 drink specials and got raffle prizes and had a really great turnout. And we would get people who would come from like Culver City and Pasadena, and of course, a lot of Burbank and Glendale. And we were just, really like impressed to see all of these people coming these distances to see what was going on here. And then that just kind of let us know that we were heading in the right direction, and we had kind of like really filled a gap, that something that was really missing. And just between, Ramik and Cami and Max in the beginning, they really built a great social media following. And over the weekend, we hit 4,000 followers on Facebook. And so it's just really great to see, each event building on the event before, and more people coming, more and more people getting involved, more and more people getting their information from us on social media. And so I just kind of was like, well, this is great. And, networking is awesome. And I've met some great people through it, and it's helped both professionally and then as well, like, I've just made some great friends along the way. But what would be really great is if we added a component of giving back to the community. And so last year, we did a Family Promise Day. So Family Promise of the Verdugos is a homeless, and they work with homeless families in Burbank. So they help 4 families at a time that are facing, whether it be they need they need employment, or they need to have more income, or they need some kind of help where they're able to, along with Family Promise, work together and get the resources and become permanently housed. And they have a model where they do it within 90 days. So from 90 days, these families go from homeless to sheltered. And so we kind of tapped into our different resources that we have here in Burbank, and we worked with Dunkin' Donuts and other vendors here in Burbank, and we collected donations, and then we just had like a craft fair breakfast at the park, and we got to hang out with the families, talk to them about our jobs, tell them about Burbank Young Professionals, and just kind of let them know, like, we're rooting for you guys, and we're cheering you on, and and we're thinking about you, and we appreciate you. And that just had such a great reaction from that. The Family Promise was really happy, but the participants were extremely grateful for that day. And it's just something that those of us that were there, like, we're always going to remember. And so once COVID happened, then we started using the social media platform to kind of share information. And as we know, everything is changing by the day. And just kind of being on top of what the city is doing, what the chamber is doing, and just giving different resources. And then as well saying, hey, you're a business in Burbank and you have something, a product or a message that you want to share, we're happy to be your partner and share that for you. And so that's been really great. And then we've also been able to use our great relationship that we have with the Burbank Board of Education and the City Council. And we did a couple of town halls. So we did one in June and one in July. And we had various professionals talk about the city, the county, and the state reaction to COVID, and just kind of be a more informational thing. So, with this whole, COVID thing, we, before that, we were planning to have one of our events actually at Woodbury. And so we still hope to do that when it's safe to do so. And we look forward to that. But just kind of, finding our way in this new climate. And then another thing that happened also in the beginning of 2020 was, we met with Oswaldo and were able to form the partnership with the Burbank Young Professionals, and just kind of talked about how, we're more than happy to give the students and the alumni just, our ear and our resources, and just kind of, help them out, and just remembering, what it was like to have your whole future in front of you, and like, just to kind of be able to talk to somebody who's been there and kind of gone through what you've gone through, and we're happy to share our experiences with you. Is there anything you want to add to that, Ramik? Did I leave anything out?
No, I think that was fantastic. I think you said it all. I mean, the Burbank Young Professionals is really, it's all about you. It's about providing you the access, it's providing you the resources, and like Carol said, we've done a lot of great work through the community, from the philanthropy work we've done with the Burbank Coordinating Council. We've done wonderful events with them, and also with City Council. What we've really done is that it was an amazing moment when Mayor Cheryl Springer turned around and she was like, I would love to meet with the BYP to get your ideas on like what you feel about certain policies in the city. And I think that was really monumental for us, because we felt like we really established ourselves as an organization within the city of Burbank, but we felt like we were fulfilling an empty void that was always there. So, I mean, with that, with Carol and Max Lopez, you'll see him, he'll come on. He was my vice chairman last year. And everybody else, David Nares, and all the other guest speakers, Marissa Miner, Marissa Robinson, and also Taylor Bersini. He's somewhere out in the audience. Taylor, if you can just jump on and say hi real quick. He is actually one of the administrative assistants for the Burbank Chamber of Commerce. And Taylor, you want to say a couple of words for a second?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the Burbank Young Professionals has been great for the chamber and the community. It's got a huge influx into, I know, the chamber, but the community as a whole of the youth movement, and the whole committee has been great in everything they've done, volunteering their time, and like they were talking about, Carol and Ramik were talking about. We've done a lot for the community, and we want to continue to be involved in the community and just help out as much as we can, and really bring a youth movement and be there for the community, especially right now during their biggest time of need. So that's our goal, and that's what we're trying to do as much as possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Taylor. And, and that's it. We are the Burbank Young Professionals. So feel free to reach out to us. You can follow us on social media at Burbank Young Professionals, and on Instagram, on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll be happy to talk to you guys about anything. Oswaldo, back to you.
Thank you, Ramik and Carol. Just to echo off what they just mentioned, BYP has been an essential for career services here at Woodbury. Not only have they been able to connect us with an array of different professionals within the sectors, but to build new partnerships, but also just grow and expand all of our partnerships that relate with the majors that Woodbury has to offer. So I encourage you all alumni that are present to definitely seek out and network with these professionals. They're all well connected within the Burbank community and the greater LA region. So definitely after the workshop or the mixer, I am going to send out an email with all of our information. So you definitely are welcome to email us, and we can definitely connect at each other on LinkedIn. So the next person I have the opportunity to introduce is our guest speakers. Ramik, would you like to help me introduce some of the members?
Oh, no, absolutely. I would love to. So guest speakers, I and Carol will be one of your guest speakers. I'm going to talk about the importance of networking, and Carol's going to talk about hospitality and volunteering in the community. Marissa Miner, she represents the city of Burbank. She's going to speak about the affecting change in our community. David Nares, he's with New York Life. He's going to be talking about financial wellness. And our keynote speaker, Max Lopez, from Apartment B Films, is going to be talking about starting your career in media, content creation, and networking. And lastly, we're going to have Marissa Robinson, an Assistant Director of Development for Operations with the Boys and Girls Club, of Burbank and GE, and she's going to speak about nonprofits.
Awesome. Thank you, Romit. So now we have one of our keynote speakers, Max Lopez, who's a committee member. So Max, it's all yours.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So like they said, my name is Max Lopez. I'm the executive producer and co-founder of a stop motion studio here in Burbank called Apartment D. I believe you have a link to our reel just for you guys to take a look so you can kind of get a sense of who we are and what we do. But yeah, I studied specifically stop motion animation. You can actually get a degree in that. I graduated in 2012. I've lived in Los Angeles for about 8 years now.
So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Oswaldo, can you guys see the screen? If you guys can, are you guys able to see the screen? Everybody will see the video? No? Okay, so make sure when you're sharing the screen, you're sharing that specific video as well.
Oh, okay. Give me a quick
second. It should give you that option. It's okay.
So can you guys see it now? Are you guys good? Can you guys see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, we see it.
Sorry about that.
It looks like it's pretty laggy. I don't know if it's that way for everybody else as well. I see at least one head nod. It's all right. We can skip over this point. It's stop motion animation. I think you guys have heard of that before, probably. But yeah, so I moved to Los Angeles about 8 years ago. My goal was to be an animator, and I was kind of prepared to take a decade getting there. I didn't really know what I was up against, but I figured it was going to be steep competition. So I worked at various studios for about 4 years, kind of slowly climbing my way up the ladder until I finally became an animator, at which point I kind of hit a crossroads, and it was, do I want to further myself as an animator or find the path that would let me create and sell my own work, or at least be the director. Everybody kind of comes to Hollywood to be the director, and I wanted to figure out the path that could get me there. So after 4 years of working at studios, I started building this company. And in doing so, maybe this is backwards, I started building a new plan for my career path. And in doing so, I started creating this company with my business partner. So I think that was about 2016 that we began to change the path. And 4 years later, we've gone from working we're called Apartment D because we literally started in an apartment making stop motion animation on carpeted floors, which for any of you that are familiar with stop motion, it is a mess. To the point we are at now, where we rent a studio space in Burbank, and our goal for the company is to hopefully have roughly 2 million in revenue this year. So it's been a lot of growth in a very little amount of time. So I can talk more about how we got all the way there, but I think it's important to start at the beginning. So I'm sure a lot of you I don't know how many of you are actually looking for a job in media, but I imagine regardless of where you're looking for work, right now is probably a pretty hard time to be doing it. For me, I knew I was in for a challenge. When I graduated, there wasn't the combination of social unrest, a pandemic, and a financial crisis. But I did choose to graduate with a degree in stop motion, so I think that the odds were still not really in my favor. And in going to college, I kind of was under the impression that I would graduate and they'd hand me this degree, and I'd go to the job store and I'd turn in my degree and I'd have a job, and then the story of my life would be over and I would just work and things would be simple. Obviously, very quickly, I learned that was not the case. Nowadays, really, I mean, I'm sure you're all aware, but a degree is really at most a prereq. Um, and it's an assumed prereq at that. It's, you know, the first box in a long line of boxes that they expect to see checked on your resume before we even get to the point where we're talking about you as a candidate. And especially as an artist, I learned that there are simply some skills that are worth more in our economy. You know, being a stop motion animator was not necessarily the most lucrative place to start, but it was valuable because there were a lot of lessons that I learned there that I don't think I would have learned elsewhere. You know, starting off working in the arts, you know, now the buzzword that's discussed a lot is the gig economy. We live in a gig economy. The era of working at a single company for your entire career is more or less over. And while that's unfamiliar territory to a lot of people, in media, that's been the name of the game since, you know, 1902. And so I think that there was a lot of benefit in coming into media and kind of learning that lesson right out the gate. Because while for me, this instability is kind of my natural habitat, for a lot of people, especially right now, it's a brand new experience that they've never had before. So I graduated, I had my degree, I had the skill set that I learned from school. And I quickly realized that while that skill set was valuable, I needed that training to get the job I wanted. It really was going to be, they were really just going to be tools, and it was going to be me as a person and how I use those tools that was really going to get me somewhere. So while I was, through a lot of perseverance, which in the form of emails, phone calls, and knocking on doors, I was able to find that first internship to kind of get my foot in the door, which truly was just about incessantly emailing these people, trying to get them to respond. And, you know, nobody ignores your email, your job request, your internship request because they hate you. They just do it because they're busy and they don't have time to look at it. Now being on the other side where I'm running the company, I totally get it. But it really is that approach of just endlessly trying to get someone's attention that'll get your foot in the door. And when emails stop working, you start making phone calls. And when the phone calls aren't working, you can go knock on a door and talk to the person at the front desk. You know, it kind of has to be nonstop. And so with all that perseverance, I got my foot in a door. But I quickly learned once I was there, it wasn't just what I learned in college that would be tested, which for any of you that have had an internship or job, I'm sure you've experienced that yourself. You know, a job interview is less about what you know, because your resume says a lot of that, and more about who you are and the traits you bring. So, you know, for me personally, I kind of had to step back and assess, like, well, what skills am I bringing to this? What about me will make me hireable? And I literally sat down and I just like tried to write, like, what about me would I want to highlight? What should I lean on? What are my skills? I knew about myself that I was a very curious person. And I think curiosity truly is the most important trait that anybody in the workforce can have. You know, that is the trait that gets you from that entry-level position to being an entrepreneur or climbing the ladder. Because you have to be able to demonstrate that you're committed to learning and that you're going to do it regardless of whether or not you're at that company. Whether or not they're paying you, you're going to always be growing. And it basically is how you show companies that you're worth investing in, right? You know, if you show them that you're developing without them, they would love for you to be developing with them. And it's how you add skill sets to yourself and invest in yourself so that when jobs come and go in a gig economy, you are still growing and you are still progressing. You know, in the lead up to starting a company, all I did was read, and I hated reading. So it was a big deal. And not only did I hate reading, but I was reading these just awful business books, just books on accounting and marketing and all these things that as an art student, I had hoped to never have to learn about. And it's not as grueling as you think it might be when you're doing it for something you care about. But it was that self-learning, it was teaching myself that really got me to where I wanted to go. And it was because I was investing myself. So as jobs came and went, I was still getting to grow. So curiosity was important. And then, frankly, I think when you're first starting off in the job market, you have to be a little masochistic. You have to be willing to work hard, and you're going to work long hours, and everybody loves to exploit the new employee. And, people call it paying your dues. And to an extent, especially in media, that's going to be the case. If you want to work in media, chances are you're either going to be an intern or a PA first, and your job is to be shit on. And it's the people who can do it with a grin, not become jaded, and still be curious about what's going on through that get ahead. And I think when you're young is the perfect time to be going through that experience. When you leave college, you really have nothing to your name. You have a degree, but you don't have, and like you may have some accomplishments, but nobody cares about your accomplishments when you're in high school. So you don't have a lot to lose. You only have things to prove. And I always think that that's the perfect combination because it's where it allows you to take risks. Especially, what helped me prepare emotionally for starting a company was just this idea that I was 26 at the time. And truly, at 26, I had enough time that I could try, fail, fall down, rock bottom, try to pick myself up, learn a little bit more and get going again. And I could do all of that before I even turned 30 years old. And that was really comforting to me to know that I had time to fail. I think when I first graduated college, I was in such a rush to get somewhere. But as I started experiencing life, I realized that there's a lot more room for failure. And there's a lot more time to get wherever you're going. You look up the creators of famous companies and CEOs, and they're all in their 40s by the time they do anything that anybody noticed. So being willing to be a little masochistic and hardworking, I think actually really can get you a lot farther than it sounds. And then lastly, I want to say especially in media, but I can't think of anywhere where this is not the case. You have to be sociable. And it doesn't mean that you can't have social anxiety. It doesn't mean that your social skills have to be flawless, but you have to be willing to pursue social relationships. There's a lot of, in high school, my mindset was, I hate people. People are difficult, they're annoying, they're mean, they're confusing. But as I grew older, I realized that there's just no value in that mindset. That's all that mindset does is close you off. And especially in trying to build a career for yourself, you're going to need to build those social connections. You can't just wall yourself off. So while I had a lot of social anxiety, I knew I was going to have to work through it. And I generally liked people, and especially people I could learn from. So it was a lot of pursuing opportunities to get people to tell me about themselves. And what I learned is that people love to talk about themselves. The more you can ask somebody about who they are, how they got there, and what they do, the more ingratiated they're going to feel towards you. And that is the most valuable thing you can do. What got me from internship to job was just that I asked questions. I asked a lot of questions to a lot of people, and that ingratiated me with a lot of people. And that showed that I was curious and wanted to grow. So that by the time I got there, so that by the time they were looking for someone, I was on everyone's radar. And so by assessing my own personal skills in tandem with what I had learned professionally, I was able to really focus on what job opportunity was right for me and what strengths I could highlight. And I think that's really important, is to kind of do a self-evaluation. I feel like I'm over time. Is that correct? I don't know how much time I'm supposed to be talking for.
You can wrap it up and we can close it up and then we can go on to the next guest speaker.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I could have started this by saying that self-evaluation is important, because I think ultimately evaluating yourself is how you're going to figure out where to go next. But then it's also about finding people to go there with. The people you surround yourself with are going to shape who you become. And like, I had a shitty friend group for a long time, and that ultimately got me nowhere. But what helped me build this company was surrounding myself with people that were like-minded. So when I was like, is this a crazy idea? I had people to look at me and be like, well, yes, it is a crazy idea, but you should do it anyway. And that's really the most important thing. And that's my talk.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Max. Thank you for sharing your story, your journey, and giving the alumni some tips on how to start their journey, whether in the media sector. So next, I would like to present Marissa Robinson, Woodbury alum. So she will be talking about the nonprofit sector.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, no? Shaking heads. Can anyone hear me? Okay, good. Awesome.
I can hear you, yeah.
All right, perfect. Hi, guys. My name is Marissa Robinson. I am a Woodbury graduate from the class of 2010. Just a little bit about me. I kind of grew up in LA my entire life. I started Woodbury in 2006 and immediately after with a degree in communications. Immediately after I started working, and originally my game plan was to get into hotel hospitality and event management. And that's kind of where I started. I actually started at the Holiday Inn in Burbank in 2010. And I will say that took me on a crazy journey that led me to the nonprofit sector, which I absolutely love. From the Holiday Inn, I learned a lot of customer service experience and how to deal with people and how to basically communicate. And I will say those rhetoric classes you take, and they absolutely help. Believe it or not, I can attest to the fact that the classes I took at Woodbury attributed to directly where I am at right now. From the Holiday Inn, I switched over to Community Chevrolet, where I was the director of business development. And that's another place where I got a lot of customer service experience and just learned how organizations work, especially corporates, and just the whole corporate structure. And it was really interesting just to be in that sector, because it wasn't something I ever really wanted to do. But I will say, thanks to Community Chevrolet, I did get a lot of Burbank networking in. That was the first time I actually joined the Burbank Chamber of Commerce and represented my organization there, and just kind of started building up a huge database of people. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me close my door. Sorry about that. I'm actually still at work. Anyway, so when I was at Community Chevrolet, I got really involved within the city of Burbank just through community events and joining the chamber, and also getting involved with local nonprofits just from a for-profit standpoint, just supporting the community. And it was actually a really eye-opening experience, because then I kind of went back to my first love, which was event planning, and I got to collaborate with the city as well as other nonprofits just to do fundraising on behalf of other nonprofits. And I learned a lot about working within the city and just in general working with a lot of different people from different outlets. It also made me realize that I wasn't necessarily happy in the for-profit sector, just because I had so much fun engaging with just the community and supporting other people, that I realized that was where my true passion was. So I kind of decided to take a little hiatus and do a little soul searching, and decided that I wanted to actively join a nonprofit, which I ended up doing about 3 years ago. I applied at the Boys and Girls Club of Burbank and Greater East Valley, and I took a position that I was a little overqualified for. I was the executive assistant for our CEO. But I will say within, I want to say 8-9 months, I became an assistant director role. And I now currently am in development, which, if you don't know, that basically is fundraising, marketing, and event planning. And then I'm also doing operations. So I look over all of our facilities throughout the city, as well as our other locations outside of Burbank. And I basically kind of help just with the fundamentals of our different sites and just everything that that contributes to that. Through my involvement with the nonprofit, I've actually joined a few other community groups as well. I'm currently the secretary for the Burbank Noon Rotary Group, which is a service-based organization. And I'm also a member of the class of 2020 Leadership Burbank, which is another nonprofit, which is kind of sponsored by the city as well as the city of Burbank Chamber of Commerce, where it's people from all different sectors kind of get together, learn about different aspects of leadership, and then create a community project that will that we have to kind of just do from start to finish, and will effectively benefit the community. So I've kind of been all over the place. A lot of it's been in Burbank, and I will say my relationships that I started at Woodbury, I can say definitely helped me get to where I am. I will say my CEO is actually a Woodbury alumni as well. She actually graduated from the master's program the same year I graduated with my bachelor's, and just that connection kind of got me through the interview. I'm not going to lie, that definitely helped that connection. So anyway, so about nonprofits, I'm sure you know it's definitely right now specifically it's a hard time to be a nonprofit, just because, as you know, the economy directly affects how much funding we get, and with COVID and everything, it's been a long hard road, but we're getting through it. We're one of the very few nonprofits who are still actively open and serving the community. Currently, we are providing all day summer programs for any child whose parents are either first responders or essential workers, or just don't have anybody who can watch them at home. We're currently working with Burbank Unified School District to create an all-day enrichment program that will also take in kids during the day, all day, to help with the virtual learning model and to basically be there for the kids when their parents have to work. So it's definitely a new frontier for us. It's different from what we've ever done, but we're trying to adapt and we're trying to do it quickly because we start in about 12 days. So it's definitely been pretty busy. But yeah, I mean, with nonprofit work, it's definitely challenging because, especially in LA County, because you are competing with other nonprofits that have very similar programs to you. Plus, you know, for Burbank specific, there is a certain demographic that is, you know, the one good thing about Burbank is like we all know each other. We're all relatively a unified front, and we all serve different purposes, but we all kind of work together. And sometimes there are some nonprofits that are more in the spotlight than others. So we kind of have to like take turns and make sure that we all kind of spread things equally amongst each other so we can all stay afloat. But that's it's difficult, but it's something that I have passion for, and if it's something that, you know, drives you, it's not as hard as it seems. Anyways, do you guys have any questions? None? That's not a bad thing.
Thank you, Marissa. And the Boys and Girls Club has been a great partner for us. We're in the process of developing an internship program and in talks about securing some spots for our current undergraduate students at the Boys and Girls Club. So thank you, Marissa.
Please, I could use some now, actually.
We'll touch base after. Next up is Marissa Miner.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me as well? We like to make it just really easy to put two Marissas in a row. That way you don't forget our names. I am Marissa Miner, or the other Marissa, and I work for the City of Burbank as an economic development analyst. I want to give you a little bit of background first on what I do for the city, because I don't think that my job title, or a lot of folks' job titles, really do much explanation or justice. I don't analyze everything, although I do some analysis. At its simplest definition, what we do in economic development is work to bring sales tax revenue into the city, and that sales tax revenue helps to pay for services like fire, parks and recreation, street improvements, and any type of maintenance services. So to be more specific, our economic development department focuses on improving the standard of life. And we do this through the creation of jobs, the support of innovation and new ideas, through business expansion and retention, and attracting investment. We want to really improve the overall quality of life for the city of Burbank. So I do, as I said, some analysis and some research conducting. I also build relationships with the residents and businesses, and we help to produce events for downtown Burbank, our business improvement district. In economic development, we also work to create placemaking and revitalize neighborhoods, help to grow the workforce, and market and promote the city. Through our partnerships and programming, we play a vital role in shaping Burbank's future growth and livability. And our main goal in the department is to build a better Burbank, as we say. A little bit about me. I'm unfortunately not a Woodbury alumni. It sounds so great, and had I known about it, I probably would have applied way back when. But I actually went to school to be a marine biologist, and as you can tell, I'm not doing that. Somehow I managed to find my way to business management, bolstered by my desire to actually graduate in time. And I ended up with a minor in human development. I think I'm very lucky that I found myself in business management because as some of you may be feeling right now or recently have graduated, I ended up graduating in 2008. So I really feel for those folks who are dealing with the recession right now, as that's something I went through in my career as well. When I came out of school, I just took any job I could get because really that was the kind of opportunity that was available. I worked for an insurance company, I worked for an accountant, and kind of pedaled around for a couple of years. And then once things in the economy began to recover a little bit, I was lucky enough to get an internship that was unpaid doing events for the city of Burbank. And after a few months there, I was finally hired on and got paid to do work, which is always great, and began working for the city of Burbank in economic development. So, I had my topic today on, really creating and affecting change. And I think that that's something that's super important, obviously, right now with the sake of things. But I wanted to think about it and have all of you think about it a little more organically and what we can do in the positions that we're currently in. So for me in economic development, obviously, I think government takes time, right, to make changes, to put things into action and put things into effect. But I try to think, what can I do as a person in this department to help grow the community and to help support things? So, for example, community events, right? In a small way, those have the ability to affect change, even if it's just momentary, right? We're causing a shift and increase in business for the community. We're helping people to feel happy and enjoy their surroundings, and helping just to build a better community. So I try to think of what am I passionate about and what makes my community a good place to live, and how can I take those kind of roles and goals and use my job right now to make those things happen within the community. Kind of on that idea, the main thing I wanted to share with you was this really cool idea. Actually, some of you may have heard of it. It's called Ikigai. It's actually a Japanese concept, and it means a reason for being. So it's very it's very enlightened, and obviously for me very aspirational, right? I don't think we all wake up and go, oh my gosh, my job, this is my reason for being. But what we can do is think about, what is your reason for being, and how do we take into account our mission, our passion, our profession, and our vocation, and use that to find our reason for being here. So how can you make the world a better place? And I think you'll be surprised if you really think about it, what you do in your community and your job, and how you have the ability to affect change. So, take a look. I'll put a link to everyone too, but jot down your values, the things you like to do, the things you're good at, and where all those ideas meet, that's where your Ikigai is, your ability to create and make change, whether it's in the job position you're currently in or something that you're actually aspiring to. I think that if it takes you a while to get there, that's okay too. I'm obviously a proponent of continuing to work and continuing to aspire towards better things. As I mentioned, I took a strange path: marine biology, business management, government. I don't think I set out to do that exactly, but just wanted to share that you can make your own changes and create and affect change. And now actually is a perfect time to do that. It seems like there is a recession and there's a lot going on in the world, but I think the silver lining to those times is it's a great time to be introspective and find what drives you and what your passion is and how you can make that work. So that's just kind of what I wanted to share with everyone today. I'm also happy to answer any questions. And of course, I always get questions about the city. So if anybody has questions about the city or how things work or what things are going on, I'd be happy to answer those as well.
Thank you so much, Marissa. And I'm looking forward to that link.
Yeah.
I really want to.
Yeah, it's really cool. You guys will love it.
Yes, thank you again. Next, I have Ramik.
Hi guys. Well, I guess I'm back. So I'm gonna, what I'm gonna discuss today is the importance of networking. For my occupation, I work for a company called TPX Communications. We do IT consulting. So as a senior business consultant, my primary duty is to approach clients, people I don't know, which is a really scary thing, network, build relationships. And, there's a lot that goes into like really communicating and networking. But the good thing about networking, to kind of go into what the benefits are and what even networking is, just in its entirety, it's about building relationships. It's about you. It's about approaching someone and just selling who you are. And being excited about who you are and being excited about sharing who you are. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys, this happened to you guys when you guys were little, but when I was little, I would get a new toy and I just want to show it off to everybody. You kind of have to feel like whatever you establish in life, whoever you become, you want to get excited about that and you want to share that with other people because, networking is going to be the lifeblood of your success. The people you get to know, the relationships you get to build. And networking is not about like sharing. It's about sharing. It's not about taking, it's about forming trust and like helping one another, towards a specific goal. The wonderful thing about networking is that you can get fresh ideas, things that you never really thought about before, maybe a different path, maybe a different way of looking at things. And it can definitely help you advancing your career. One thing great about networking is if you meet the right people at the right time, sometimes you guys might get lucky, or it could, you can just go out there and proactively just try to meet people. It can really get you to where you want to go. And that can give you a lot of great access to job opportunities. And you can meet people that can give you career advice and give you support along the way. But the most important thing that does is when you put yourself out there is it helps you build confidence. Confidence is simply just knowing what you're doing. And the only way you're going to know what you're doing in any scenario is to put yourself out there, try it. And, like Matt said earlier, you gotta fail. You gotta make mistakes. You gotta learn from those mistakes. And that's what's going to help you build that confidence and those social skills. And then you'll just realize over time how easy it becomes. It becomes very fluid. And, you're going to develop long-lasting relationships that you'll be able to nurture with other people that, you'll never know where they might take you. Just to give you a great example, just getting to where I am today, and Taylor Bassini, he was there along the way. When I first became an ambassador for the Burbank Chamber, I never thought I was going to be the chairman of the Burbank Young Professionals. I never thought I was going to be on a Zoom call with these wonderful people at Woodbury University. I just thought I was just going to go to these mixers and hopefully I'll be able to build or meet a client. But, Chris Hunter, managing director, saw how active I was and how proactive I was and how engaging I was with everybody. And, 4 years later, here I am, talking everyone's ear off. So, so with that, it really put me in a position where I absolutely love, I love what I do. I love the people that I've met, and it's helped me find the job that I love. I love consulting, I love meeting people, but, those are the benefits of networking, but how you network, that's the hard part. Everyone, gets the idea of what they're supposed to be doing, but how they're supposed to be doing that is a difficult part, because just approaching a stranger can be absolutely terrifying. I mean, I speak from experience because when I was in high school, my brother would talk to my counselors for me because I was super shy and super introverted. And my career started in sales because you're taking a shy kid that knows nothing about having a conversation with anyone, and you're throwing him in the sales industry, and you're like, communicate. And I did that on purpose because I really wanted to come out of my shell, So sales doesn't come naturally for a lot of people, or even and networking doesn't either. So, but we're luckily in a world right now where approaching people isn't that big of a thing because of COVID. So whether you're networking in person or during an online event, through a message post or social media channel, a good rule of thumb is when you're approaching anybody, just have some ideas of what you want to talk about, and what's more important is that networking is about taking interest in the person in front of you, not the other way around, because people take interest in people that take interest in them, and you'll see how organically people will respond to you when you do that. And, networking just simply starts by just saying hello. How are you? What brings you here? And, it's not a complicated thing, but it's just putting yourself out there will go a long way, and you guys should definitely try it. And, just like everybody else, if you guys ever need advice, ever need any references, resources, what's really helping me with the networking process is just understanding human psychology, understanding why people do the things they do, what makes them tick. And that's really helped me, because I realized that in the end, the person that I'm approaching is probably as terrified as I am. So, and with that, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for allowing me to speak today. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Ramit.
You're welcome.
The next individual I have is David.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. My name is David Norris. Thank you for taking the time to be with me today to speak with you guys, and for Woodbury for putting on this awesome event. So as my title says, my role is that of a financial advisor. And some of the topic that I want to cover today is giving you guys really just some insights into the power of working with a trusted financial advisor. Especially since most of you guys are just starting your careers, just making your way into the real world. As a lot of my counterparts have already mentioned, it's so important for you guys to be financially literate, right? To get the research, to talk to folks that have the experience that you're going to be needing to make those decisions at some point down the road, because it's really going to be such an instrumental part of your life for you guys to have this experience and this information now so that you can apply it for the rest of your lives. So I'm going to go through some highlights here real quick. And the first thing that I want to make sure to instill or to mention is in regards to money, right? That's kind of why a lot of folks are going into certain career paths is to make that living, but money is a tool. It's not a goal, right? So before you begin planning, think of what you want to accomplish with your money, really. So do you want to travel? Do you want to start your own business? Champion for an important cause, maybe a nonprofit like Marissa. And if those are your priorities in life, be sure to factor them into the equation, right? So everything that you're thinking about doing, make sure that that is a big part of your plan. The second thing that I want to cover is that you are your greatest asset, your age and your income potential. Right? So the amount of money that you will earn over the next 20 or 30 years is most likely your greatest asset. To protect this valuable asset, make sure that you have good health insurance, right? Good disability insurance and even life insurance plans, all of which should be relatively inexpensive given your guys' young age. The third thing that I want to cover is time is on your side. So here again, your age gives you a decided advantage, right? So even small amounts as far as saving or investing $50 to $100 a month, if saved and invested early, can amount to substantial sums given enough time, right? The key is to getting started early and sticking with it. The other portion of this here, my fourth topic, is as you are getting ready to go into the workforce, the benefits are just as important as the salary. So as you're doing your due diligence and going into your careers and who your respective employers are going to be, or if you're in business for yourself, these days a company's benefit package can be every bit as important, if not more important, than the salary that they're offering. So before you jump ship or leave at the first offer, take a good look at those companies' health, dental, life insurance, and retirement benefits. You may be surprised as to how much a good benefit package will save you over the long run or into your retirement. The fifth topic is determining a baseline, right? Really, it's creating a budget. Some of you guys may be familiar with this or maybe have taken some courses, but it's building that budget and going from there. It is, while we all understand the importance of living within our means, right? Few people take time to build a monthly budget, let alone stick to one. So for millennials, myself included, who do, however, these benefits can quickly add up. This is especially if your salary grows over time and you're able to bank or invest the difference, right? After you've paid off all of your monthly expenses or your bills, basically. Big thing for everybody here is leveraging and using social media, but using it wisely. What I mean by that is it's something that's very popular given the current environment, but just in general, right? We're very much in tune, plugged in, and logged on. So this can be an excellent source for financial information. Unfortunately, it could also be a tremendous source of misinformation, right? Misleading information. So make sure that any sources that you are following or listening to, that they're credible, right? Do your due diligence and research any financial advisor that you may be considering working with. And two more topics for you folks. The other topic deals more into once you've established your career and maybe you're building your life, starting to think about your next move. Maybe it's starting a family or looking into a home of your very own. And that makes sure that any type of rent or any type of mortgage payment for the future, that you guys are, we've already seen one housing market correction, right? If some of you guys back in 2008 and everything that happened, but a lot of experts are basically saying that we might be seeing another correction coming up here shortly. So that doesn't mean that you're in a hurry to purchase your first home, right? Because obviously renting is a lot cheaper than buying. But having a strategy in place can be very effective, meaning taking the extra cash that you may have, investing that, saving it, and making sure that you're taking care of your financial needs and making those a priority. And lastly is taking responsibility. What I mean by that is in regards to your retirement and your financial well-being, really. While retirement may seem a long way off, it's going to arrive sooner than you think. And while retirement the landscape has changed with the decline of traditional pensions and different forms of retirement plans, there are a lot of ways to prepare for it, right? If your company, for example, offers a 401k, which is a form of retirement account, be sure to take advantage of it. Learn all the inner workings, what they mean and how those could be taken advantage of. Also things like traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, all terms that you may or may not be familiar with. But given the long term that you have to that stage in your life, looking at your options and working with a trusted advisor, much like myself or anybody whom you'd like to work with, is really going to set you up for financial success, right? So that is what I wanted to cover. If anybody has any other questions for me, please feel free to let me know, and I'd be more than happy to make myself available to you, your loved ones, friends, or family, especially in this very uncertain environment that we find ourselves in. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next, we have Carol.
Hello, everyone. So what I just kind of wanted to talk about is my experience here in Burbank. I've been working at the hotel for just a little bit over 2 years. Prior to that, I born and raised in Whittier, California, which is about 20 miles from here. And from before driving to Burbank every day, Burbank was the furthest place from my mind, and it just seemed like so far away and so far removed from my everyday life. And this opportunity came, and I was, I would say, I'm very fortunate in that I have an amazing support system here, and I have a great boss. And my boss has allowed me to, she presents the goals and the initiatives and allows me to find my way to get there. And so there's room for that creativity and that curiosity. And one of the first things that I found coming to Burbank was that it was very tight knit. And so being an outsider, how do I introduce myself and my business to that tight knit circle? And we have a restaurant here at the hotel, and most people had no idea that we had a restaurant. They just thought we are a hotel. I have a house, I have an apartment, I have a home here in Burbank. I don't need anything to do with the hotel. And so it started by going to the chamber networking events and having that 60-second elevator speech talking about how, yeah, we have guest rooms. So when mother-in-law comes from out of town, this is a great option for them. And as well, we have a restaurant. So when you're looking for, someplace to eat. But thinking beyond that, we have event space here, and we do outside of the box catering, and our meeting room has a interactive smart board where you're not gonna, and there's no holes in the middle of the room, and it's just a different feeling here. And just getting people to come in and kind of see that we're different and being that bridge to this tight-knit community and this great business, and kind of working my way through that. And I didn't realize when I took the job that that was going to be one of those obstacles that I was going to have to overcome. And, lucky for me, I can talk to a rock, and I enjoy people. So I'm so glad that I had that going for me. And just beyond figuring out, okay, what is the common denominator here? How can we help you? Well, everybody here really is invested in the community. And, kind of like Marissa talked about, people support several different of those organizations that we have here in Burbank. And our hotel, prior to me getting here, was already contributing to some of these nonprofits and working with them. And so it just became well, let's kind of highlight that on social media, and let's talk about that, and how can we grow that, and how can we expand that. And, all of these different, they have these different fundraisers, whether it's I know not everybody has, $2,000 to shell out for a table at a gala, but there are restaurant fundraisers where if you just buy your dinner there, there's they get a portion of it, and you get to meet with key people from that organization and key supporters, and then you get to talk to them about what they have going on in their business, and just kind of let them know that your business is here and your business is willing to work with them as well. And from there, we just kind of grew that. We made we give donations of gift certificates for silent auctions and galas, and we donate our used linen, and we do different things here. And we have different school supplies drives and diaper drives and things like that. And so it's been a lot of fun to be able to organize that. And then on top of that, we worked with the Burbank Education Foundation last year, and they were looking for a new way to kind of fundraise. And so, together we came up with this idea of, if you kind of have like a wine and cheese night and you sell tickets for it, we would pretty much just do it at cost and let them keep, the proceeds from the tickets. And then for me, that was a great way to get all of these community members to see the hotel, to see our service, to taste our food. And it's a great way for the Burbank Education Foundation to have an outside of the box fundraiser. And so it worked really well for both the hotel as well as the Education Foundation. So that's just kind of been like a sweet spot for me. And it's like so gratifying, and it's stuff that I enjoy anyways. And then another byproduct of all of this is, I met Ramik through networking from the chamber. And outside of what we do together for Burbank Young Professionals and for the chamber, we're really good friends, and with David, like I know his wife, and, and everybody here on the call, like they are, people that I call friends. And, stuff goes on in my life and I kind of just, clue them in on it, and we support each other, and we can kind of, let steam off together. We can run ideas by each other, and it's an amazing support group. And so it's just like, it's been win-win-win between the volunteering for the Burbank Young Professionals and all the other things that we do. And then through this journey of the past 2 years, I've been lucky enough to be recognized at work, and I've gotten 2 promotions in that time. And then as well, I've been asked to become a Burbank Chamber board member and a Family Promise board member. So I'm really excited about those things. And it's just been really great to see all of that pay off, and it makes work a lot of fun. And to have, people enjoy the hotel and follow us on social media. And we have a drink of the month, and everybody's always like, what is your drink for this month? And it's been really cool. And so through the networking and through the volunteer work, I've been able to see a lot of success, but mostly it's been as well like personal success as well, between like friends and all of this stuff, just like being fun and being very rewarding. So I just wanted to share that with all of you, to kind of find your way to get to your goal, and kind of take out of the box approaches. And there's all kinds of different ways to do it. There's you're just going to look in your city and see what they have going on, but most cities have a chamber, most cities have a Kiwanis, and also like a new Rotary Club. So those are good places to start. And they're doing like virtual events at this time.
Thank you so much, Carol. And that pretty much wraps up. I want to thank all the BYP speakers. Thank you so much for giving us such great insight and tips. Just to respect time, if you have to depart, just wanted to let you know that an email will be sent out with all of our contact information. So alumni, if there is a professional, or you can stick around and ask them questions. But due to time, if you have to depart, I completely understand. We are going to send out an email with all the information. So if there's a professional that resonates with you, feel free to connect with them and network with them, and they can definitely guide you. So once again, thank you so much. This is the first of many. Thank you, Damon. Thank you, BYP, and thank you to all the alumni that attended. So I'm great success today. So thank you again, and we'll keep the Zoom open. And if alumni, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, everyone.
I was curious if anybody here was actually from the media school, or whatever it's called at Woodbury. I'll take silence as a no.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find my unmute. My name is Mauro Diaz. One of my many roles is grants. I actually was a faculty member. I was the chair of the accounting department, and I was also part of the grant that brought 3 majors to our campus that increased our media. I brought film, I brought our game program, and what is now our applied computer science major. So I was embedded in the School of Media, Culture, and Design for about 5 years. And obviously Dr. Steele is there, and Seta can answer questions about that. But what could I answer for you?
Yeah, I mean, I know, so a fellow colleague of mine, I know actually has worked in your guys' animation program, but I'm curious a little bit more about that. I don't know if it's officially an animation program if it's part of your film program?
Oh, it's a standalone, actually. The former chair helped me when she was a key aspect that helped with the development of those three majors. And she was the chair of the animation program. Stop motion is one of the areas that is within the animation program. So we have 3D animation. Of course, it started as a 2D, and as it grew, changed into what it is now, and continuing to evolve as the profession evolves. And all of the majors are collaborative. So when we brought in film, game, what is applied computer science, animation works, they share many courses, because an animation might obviously have something with a game. They may have anything even from our fashion design program, which is also embedded within the School of Media, Culture, and Design. So there are a lot of aspects of media technology, graphic design, coming up with, let's say, a game that somebody develops. They develop the box and materials that go with it. So it's a collaborative effort. Our students are able to work with multidisciplined students from all over the different majors, including not just within the school. You will have that also cross over into the School of Architecture and the School of Business and the College of Liberal Arts, where we have communication, and we have professional writing, where they're helping them develop script and things of that nature. So there's a lot of interweaving of the majors in our campus. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's great. You know, the school that I went to was very siloed, which I ultimately found made no sense, because especially in media, it is so broad and collaborative, and you're working across so many disciplines. The earlier people kind of learned the skills of that intercommunication, the better, for sure.
Yes. No, for us being a small, sorry, Dr. Steele, all yours.
Mauro is being very modest. He has really brought in a tremendous amount of money through the Department of Education. And last October, we received a $3 million grant over 5 years to start a computer science program. Basically, a platform through all 4 schools, 3 schools and a college. And in February of this year, we also applied for another grant for $3 million over 5 years. And if I may go back to the first one, if my numbers are correct, I think California got 18 of these grants. Only 2 private schools got grants, and we were one of them. So we were really successful, and a lot of the credit goes to you, Mauro. So thank you for your contributions.
That's great. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with everybody. Next time I'll try to be a little less rambly, but yeah, I look forward to you guys having another one.
Max, if you're ever interested in visiting and looking at our campus or looking at our program, please, as you'll get the info from the group, please reach out to me or to anybody at Woodbury, and more than happy to, once things, social distancing and everything, and all that, all that stuff comes back.
We'll follow up in 2021.
That's right. Let's talk next year about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually a neighbor. I frequent Hill Street Cafe.
Yes.
For those of you in the know.
And if you know, he's also Woodbury alumni.
Oh, yeah? Oh, no way.
Yes.
No,
so, yes.
Small world.
I'll definitely join you guys. I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, everybody. It was nice meeting you all.
Yes, thanks,
Matt.
Appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Bye. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everything and for organizing this. I think it was a great event. Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Do any of our alumni have anything to say? I miss my students. Rachel lives in San Francisco. She graduated in 2009 fashion marketing. Gia, where did she disappear? Yvonne graduated a couple years ago. fashion design. Kevin Keel, I think you're a graduate, right? He's muted. Armin, did you go to Woodbury? Okay, they're muted.
Yeah, I just graduated.
Oh, you did. Oh, great. And Rocky. And I found out Dana is a current accounting student who has just accepted an internship at EY.
Ooh, cool.
Congratulations. You're part of the EY aspect. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great.
Great firm.
Congratulations.
Did I miss any of our students? I didn't hear Kevin, but it's okay. What happened to Damon?
I think he's
Oh,
gone.
Damon's gone, man. Okay, now I know you. Now I know your face. Now I remember your face. I can't remember all the names. Oh, that's good. You just graduated in May, Armin?
Yeah, architecture.
Architecture, yes.
Well, I wanted to put one thing out there, since I should have done it when there were more individuals, but I did want to put out that one of the grants, obviously Dr. Steele was talking about it, I am still looking for a position to fill, but it's very specific. If you know, have them go to the website or email me as you get the information. I have a robotics/prototype specialist position that I need to fill for my group for the grant that I'm currently running. We will, as part of our computer science, we will have a robotic arm like that builds things, but we need a specialist to run it so it doesn't go amok and destroy things, to teach our students and use the technology that's there. But we already have the equipment being built, but I need a specialist to run it. So please, if you know anybody or some of you that may have changed your degrees doing things, you never know, like Rocky ran a lot of our technology, if I'm not mistaken, in my previous grant there. So just hint, hint, maybe, I don't know, it may be up your alley or not. I'm looking for to fill that position. It's not that I can't, that we've tried, but it hasn't worked out with some of the individuals, especially because of COVID and things of that nature. So please reach out if anybody's interested. Thank you.
And our Gia, I don't want to forget Gia. She was the student body president, and
yes.
She graduated in architecture, and she's doing some interesting, amazing things right now. Are you still teaching?
Yeah, so
America,
I just finished, So I just finished my 2 years teaching with Teach for America in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I just accepted a position with a charter school to do curriculum planning and to teach high school math. So I'm going to continue teaching.
Awesome. Gia, I work for TFA, so good work.
We still don't know what happened to Kevin Keel. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Well, you have a good evening. I have a 3 a.m. with Istanbul on my international flight. So I will see you. I will see you guys at the next event. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Does anybody else want to say anything?
Any other questions, anyone?
I never thought that in the year 2020, they would be looking for someone to run a robot. That's all I have to say about that. It just seems like a cool job offer. I wish I knew how to do that. Like, do you want to come run our robot?
Oh my God, I know.
It happened sooner than we thought.
Can it be done virtually, I wonder?
I'm sure it can be, right? Must be. It's just.
I want to work for Skynet one day.
I know. Yeah. You
be
guys,
part of a Terminator movie.
Everyone's jobs here sound so cool.
Yeah, I know.
Teaching, accounting, robot, and calls with Istanbul. Man, you guys make the government look more boring.
I know Maro has either India or Istanbul or China. I'm like, okay, Maro, these people are not coming to Woodbury soon, but we can't give up on them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not coming to America anytime soon, but It's very difficult, unfortunately.
I know.
And now with the hybrid or online, they're not allowed to come at all, and very unusual times.
It is, yeah.
Did you
2021
guys,
will be great.
most of you enjoyed everything? So good to see our students or alumni.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say thank you guys, and also I feel like we typically don't get to do virtual events with Woodbury, and I'd love to be more involved with Woodbury. So while I'm in San Francisco, yeah, these virtual events are great, and this was my first time kind of getting to reconnect with Woodbury in quite some time. So I appreciate it, and keep it up. I really enjoyed getting to see everybody. It was nice.
That's great. So now, Ivan is in, I forgot, what state?
Washington, Seattle.
Washington. Gia's in Washington, D.C. Rachel, San Francisco, and there was somebody who left. Mary McGee was from Arizona. Very interesting that they all joined.
That's nice.
I'm assuming Armin and Dana are here. And so is Rocky. Rocky's in Burbank, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I'm still here.
He's a Burbanker, Burbankian.
Yeah, I work in media, so it makes
Rocky,
sense.
I forgot your major.
Business management, but actually I worked mostly in video and audio. So
Yes, of course.
yeah, so I'm staying here in Burbank because that's where,
that's where all the
most
jobs
of my
are.
media work is. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm staying close to Woodbury, staying close to home as well. And that's really convenient for me to be staying here and doing work here.
Yeah.
See, I remember all these people when they came to orientation, most of them. Well, I always remember people with different, I mean, there is a lady, now she's in her 30s and married to another alum. And she always says that she remembers me when she came to orientation right out of high school. And she remembers what chair she was sitting on. And I welcomed her. And I remember Rocky got on his first year, he got the Kiwanis. I'm a Kiwanian in Burbank. And he got the Kiwanis scholarship. And that's when I met him.
Yeah, and then
Everybody has a story. And Ivan took me to a Thai restaurant. Thai. I remember Rachel's name a lot. And I just met Dana.
What restaurant did you go to?
I've known Armin. We don't see our architecture students much because they live in studios. I just don't know how they're doing everything at home now or remotely. Everybody, whether it's film or animation or fashion design. Oh, fashion design. Can you imagine? But so good to see you. And Romik and Carol, so thank you so much.
Oh, that's pleasure. It is
They're my
our
newly
pleasure.
adopted older kids or nephews, nieces, whatever.
I'm her adopted nephew. It is official. I take her cakes on Saturdays.
Anytime, honey, anytime.
Thank you guys all for taking the time to come in and jump on the video tonight. We really appreciate that, and really hope that you found the content to be useful. And if you think of anything or you need anything, just reach out to any of us. We're happy to talk to everybody.
Yes, definitely. And this is the first of many. So thank you for just joining the first one, and now I think we'll build a momentum to start scheduling more alumni events since we're in a virtual setting.
I was just thinking of that too. We should do those things. Yes.
Yes, and this is the first of many. I'm planning the fall semester, so I'm definitely gonna add a couple more alumni events.
That's good. You guys always can touch base with us, and then now you have more friends within the BYP. Yeah, BYP. And we have Marissa. Thank you for that report too, Marissa.
Oh, sure.
Very interesting. Marine biologist.
well.
Marine biologist turned to analyst.
I think that you should do, Oswaldo, you should do a trivia game, or at least a part of them. We did one for work. It got a little competitive, and and yeah, my fiance does them for his work too. They do like digital trivia. You can even do some like Woodbury history. It kind of mixes things up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that this was just a pilot.
Yeah, for sure.
We wanted to see if alumni were going to be with RSVPs, but the second one is definitely going to be with the breakout groups and definitely have, you know, facilitators. But that would be a great way to start it off, is with Woodbury trivia and have, you know, raffle off a prize and mail it to them. So
yeah,
that's a good one. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, you guys, this is a great job. Silver lining of everything, we can all go virtual.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to get in your car in traffic at 5 or 6 and drive somewhere for an alumni event, but you know, you can turn your phone on.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I don't want to go, so I'm not going to go until everybody leaves.
That's why I'm here. I'm just waiting for everybody else.
And some others have to leave.
Yeah, I'm going to head out too, but if anybody wants, I know you're sending out contact info, but it's nice to meet all of you virtually.
Yes, thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Well, because I need to go home.
Yes.
Thank you, Armin John. Thank you for joining.
Bye, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
Dana. Bye, everybody.
Congratulations
Bye,
again
Sarah.
on your internship.
We
Carol.
love you.
We love you. I love you all. Carol, I just sent you a message. Did you become a sales manager now? Carol.
Yeah, so Michael was promoted and he moved to South Carolina.
Okay.
And so I have taken his place officially 2 months ago.
The reason I asked is because